Hello and welcome to the show. Now, front-wheel drive cars have tended to struggle when it comes to autocross. However, they are going to get another chance today with the Volkswagen Scirocco R. After the recent hot hatch showdown, this proved to be one of the best handling, if not the best handling, of the front-wheel drive cars that we tested. It might have slightly lost out to the focus in terms of speed, but around the corners it was incredible. So, maybe, just maybe, the Scirocco will be the front-wheel drive car that will work with this course. It's still going to be one hell of an ask. We shall start by fitting some lovely race tyres. Already the PI is shooting up. We have got 265s at the front, which is not bad actually, for delivering all of that power onto the road. We'll have 265s on the rear as well. Yeah, that might not be too bad. I mean, we're still asking the front tyres to do so much work when it comes to this. We will also be wanting to get, of course we have kind of slightly optional bits. We can go for the Volkswagen race kit on this car. I do quite like the... What sort of wing is that? Yeah, we can have like the Volkswagen touring car kit. I forgot about that. Yes, we will have them, and they do provide the same kind of level of downforce as the Forza parts. As you saw, they were adjustable as well. Are these light? Okay, so these are slightly heavier. They do reduce drag. I don't need drag reduction as such. Sure, I'll stick that on there as well. I didn't actually notice if the rear bump. I just got to stuck it on there because it was the race kit. It is slightly heavier. Okay, we might not go for that. We'll see. Because the drag reduction isn't going to help us because top speed is irrelevant basically in what we are doing. The engine, we'll be keeping that as the standard one. As you can see already, I mean the PI, we're almost into A class now, so don't yeah, we're not going to need an engine swap, so we will stick with the standard one. Also, like, my choices wouldn't be anything particularly spectacular. The turbo rally engine in a front wheel drive car is asking for death basically, so wouldn't be wanting to go for that one. I'm hoping the weight reduction will get us down to about 2,600-ish pounds. That would be nice. It is indeed that kind of area. With an exhaust upgrade, maybe we can get our car, maybe we get it under 2,500, not quite. I think we might be pushing it to get it under 2,500 in all honesty. Maybe sometimes, no. Sometimes the turbo upgrades can save some weight. I think it's normally the supercharger that the race one can save some weight, but you never know. It's worth a look, but it's not going to be the case in here. Our power is not likely to be, well, as much as we have seen. That's probably a good thing, though. Again, bearing in mind where all of that power is going. It is going to be deposited through the front wheels. So we don't... I say we don't want too much crazy power. We need to get the PI up, of course. But, yeah, if this was putting out 500 horsepower through the front wheels, that's, you know, you're going to have some trouble. 362 horsepower is not looking too bad. Typical. We're going to be bloody... Right, hold on. Plan. My plan is we're going to go for that stage there of valves. We'll go for this piston upgrade, and then we will get the last couple of PI with the driveline. Let's just take a look at the gearbox. Okay, sometimes, I've said this many times before, sometimes the first level of gearbox can lower PI. I will tend not to go for these. They add a lot of PI for very little in the way of performance gain, so we will go with the driveline. We will put the race diff in as well, and to finish it off, we will probably get a flywheel. That'll probably be our last PI point. There we go. 374 horsepower, actually a little bit more horsepower than I was expecting out of this. 368 torque as well, not too shabby, 2,500 pounds. This is all going to be about, will the Scirocco be able to deal with everything happening through the front tyres? It is a hell of an ask. Maybe the Volkswagen is capable. Now, of course, to test out the Volkswagen, we have brought it to the Hockenheim circuit, where it will have 3 attempts through the autocross course in an attempt to go as fast as possible. Now, the top of the table is unlikely to be worried about this front-wheel drive vehicle. Its main kind of competition is, well, can it go the fastest of the front-wheel drive cars? The current quickest is the Cooperworks Mini GP, a 210.2. It's down in 50th place on our table. So if this can go quicker, maybe this could be the first front-wheel drive car to go into the sort of the 207s, 208 region, even. If, and it is a big if it can manage to maintain corner speed, if we can, yeah, keep everything controlled with the front tyres having to do all of the work. The other big concern, we have seen it with some four-wheel drive cars as well, but especially with the front-wheel drive cars, cold rear tyres can be a real problem in the opening gates. The Scirocco, though, so far does not seem too bad, although we are a little squiggly under braking into that section. Now, going to have to be potentially a little carefuler with the throttle than I have been in a lot of previous cars. Okay, we've got a little bit more turning through there than I was expecting, which is lovely. In fact, actually, I've got quite a lot of turning. That was just a clip on the splitter through the barrels. So we've made a couple of silly mistakes on this run. But this car is feeling more like it. It's feeling a little bit more like it, especially at the higher speed stuff. This is where these kind of cars are going to come, unstuck. If I was like too stupid, but that was a lot of speed. Are we going to be flat? Yeah, we can be flat, and we're up to almost 120 miles an hour before jumping on the brakes. This is looking very promising, actually, for the Volkswagen. I fear where we might lose time is these acceleration zones, where I'm having to be very careful not to spin up the wheels. And even the big powerful muscle cars, even the vehicles putting out 600 odd horsepower, they've tended to be the cars capable of deploying all 600 horsepower. Very few of the corners around here, even with the crazier cars, have I had to really worry about traction. But in a vehicle like this, because of the front wheel drive, I'm having to really think about power delivery, think about what I'm doing with the throttle. It's not just a booted out of every single corner. Around the hairpin, okay, we can't quite carry that much speed around the hairpin. I thought we might be understeer. Again, this run is gone, so I might as well experiment with the car, see what it is capable of doing, and I think it's capable of quite a lot if I can not make any silly mistakes. Now, we may struggle coming through this section. This is probably not likely to be the Scirocco's favourite part, because you're trying to put power down while still weaving between the gates. It's across the line. Yeah, we missed, I think, about 4 gates. So, a 20-second time penalty? That could be quick. Is it 4 or 3 gates? I don't know. Anyway, it's still looking pretty decent, though. So, it is on to the second run for the Volkswagen. Fingers crossed we can keep it out of the barrels. I'm definitely impressed with the handling of the vehicle. I think it is... I think it's pretty good. It's managing all of the power. There goes the cold, the cold tires. I think, yeah, we can actually maintain some pretty good corner speed from what I was seeing on the last run. It's the coming out of the corners. That is where the Scirocco is losing its time, and that is where I'm not sure there is a huge amount. That is fantastically good though through there. Oh, get it stopped for that guy. That is really very, very impressive. It's the mid-100, was it 106 miles an hour-ish through there. I couldn't really take my eyes off the road to see that, because I wasn't quite sure what the car was going to do. But that's up there with the sports cars. None of the other front-wheel drive cars have ever been able to replicate that kind of performance at that section. So things are looking strong for the Scirocco again. Oh, okay. If we get the turn in right there, we can be flat out, but we have to get the turn in spot on. Otherwise, the understeer will grab us wide. I got it right first time around. I didn't get it. I think I turned in a smidge too soon. I went to try and counter it, and then we had too much understeer to sort it out. So I messed it up that time around. Oh, it's so painful trying to get on the power and just not being able to. Although it's a lovely change of direction through there. Does really, really well at that low speed section. Come on, Volkswagen. Flat out on our way through here. No problem at all. Brakes, pretty good. Yeah, pretty solid. Under braking this car. It is pretty light, actually. It's, okay, it's not the 2,000-pound lightweight roadster that we've seen go, or that we've seen plenty of. Again, pushing my luck too much. Well, I mean, the run was ruined anyway, so I guess it's worth throwing the car and seeing seeing what sticks. Still just struggling for so much traction on the run up there. And again, out of these corners, you've just got to wait and wait and wait to be able to put that power down as we come and weave our way through this final section. Yeah, it likes that section more than I thought it would. I thought we really would struggle. Across the line, 2:18.9, 2 gates clipped. So 10 seconds of a time penalty. You know, we could well see this going as the first competitive front-wheel drive car. And now for front-wheel drive honour. It is the final run for the Scirocco R. It is certainly not going to be without its difficulties. For example, getting the car off the line. It must lose a good half a second, maybe even a second, on some cars, just trying to get this thing going. The front-wheel drive not being ideally suited to a quick start. However, time can be made up in this vehicle. It can carry some really, really good sort of mid-quarter speed, but sort of mid-gate speed. I mean, that's 105-ish miles an hour on the exit there, and we've seen a lot of cars struggle to reach 100. Yes, okay, it's 5 miles an hour down on the Lamborghini Miura, but it is far quicker than a large number of vehicles have gone through that section. It really can maintain some very, very impressive speed through here. For example, where we do get a little bit of understeer that time around, that's still 75 miles an hour on the exit. That is very, very good going. I did have to have a little lift this time around. We're still, though, up to the 117 mile an hour mark. That's only 4 miles an hour down on the 911. This is a front-wheel drive car. You know, you've got to bear in mind this is struggling to put its power down out of the slower corners, so it's making the most of what power there is there to be able to accelerate to that 117 miles an hour. Right, now we come to the narrow section. The change of direction through there is incredible. And again, good speed on the exit, although I may have got a little too carried away. Getting onto the throttle, we got a tiny bit of wheel spin and got dragged ever so slightly wide. Now we are on to the brakes. Got to be careful, easy to get carried away with understeer through there if you try and get on the power too soon. However, you can still carry some very, very good speed with this vehicle. Now, don't throw it into the hairpin too hard because, again, the understeer may catch you out, but it was neatly done, and we will have to have a dab on the brakes up through here. It's not going to be flat out, although it is nice and planted through that section. Sometimes the little bumps in the road can cause issues for the car as we now head towards this last section where the Scirocco has been doing relatively well. You know, the front end changing direction nicely. We can't quite get on the power as soon as I would like to, but nevertheless it's going to be up towards the line. 208.4 from the Volkswagen. That is a good time. That is a hell of a good time, I think, for a front-wheel drive car. You know, it has its struggles. It's bad off the line. You can, you know, when you're really throwing the car at the course, you can get some bits of understeer. I think the biggest struggle with this car is accelerating away out of the slow corners. There are a few places where there's quite a lot of wheel spin. I mean, I'm doing my best to try and stop the wheel spin to be a bit cautious on the throttle while still being, on maximum attack around this course. And the problem is, when you drive some of the sports cars, the cars with the giant rear tyres and so on that have had 600 horsepower, they're flat out of every corner. And you can't do that. You simply can't do that. With the Scirocco, you're asking the front tyres to do such a tremendous amount of work. It does incredibly well. It does phenomenally well for what it is, but they still can't quite deal with everything. Definitely, though, this has been by far the most competitive of the front-wheel drive cars. You saw some of the speeds it was getting mid-corner, mid-gate. It was up there with the sports cars. It's the putting the power down out of the slower sections is what kills the car. And I say kills the car, it's still that 208 is a very, very good time. It will put the vehicle into 45th place. Yes, it is only 5 places higher, or 6 places higher than the Cooper Works Mini. However, this is up there with Honda NSX. It's less than a tenth down on the NSX, the Audi S1, the Holden Tirana, the Porsche Cayman Vantage, and so on. It's right up there with the Norvik. It's 2 seconds clear almost of the Cooper Works Mini. 2 seconds around this track. That is a sizable amount yeah, by far and away, the best front-wheel drive car I have taken around the autocross course. And no, it's not quite competitive enough to get towards the very top of the table, but that is a much better time for a front-wheel drive car. And yeah, I think front-wheel drive vehicles will struggle to go much better than this Scirocco. However, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.